Ghana's inflation rate exceeded the central bank's target band for a second straight month, raising pressure on its monetary policy committee to hike interest rates later this month. Annual inflation accelerated to 11% in October from 10.6% in September, according to the country's statistics office. Ghana's central bank targets price growth within a range of 6% to 10%. Joining us now from Accra is the managing director of Apakan Securities, Fred Duvor. Fred, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. How is the equity markets and assets holding up against the country's inflation?
Yeah, hi, Rotus. So the inflation print for October, as you mentioned, was at 11%, and this was largely driven by the non-food category. As we've seen, petroleum prices increase, and there's also been some pressures on the foreign currencies. We are actually yet to see a translation of yesterday's inflation numbers on equity market activity, but generally, the Ghanaian stock market has held its own this year. I think it's currently the second best performing stock market in Africa, behind Zambia's Lusaka Stock Exchange. The composite index today closed at about 53%, and this is largely driven by financial stocks, industries, and telecom performance.
Thank you so much for that. In fact, what about industrials? Since you just mentioned financials and telecoms, how's that sector also faring along with the others you just mentioned?
So the industrial sector is very bullish, and this has been led by the FMCG stock Fan Milk and brewery stock Guinness Ghana Limited. Fan Milk is actually on track to be the best performing stock on the exchange. It's up by about 270%. Financial stocks also the index is up by 16.3% this year, and it's on the back of stellar earnings that have been published by majorly the banks, and this is in line with the bank's ability to navigate the negative impact of the pandemic. So you have banking counters like Societe Generale posting 88% year-to-date return, and GCB about 30%. Enterprise Group, which is an insurance stock, also posted about 81%, and they have led the charge for the performance of the financial sector on the market.
Great stuff. So, I mean, those are some good numbers. Can you talk to us about investment flows in and out of Ghana's economy, I guess on the portfolio side for foreign portfolio investors?
Okay, well, broadly, we've seen a decline in foreign investor holdings of Ghana-denominated treasury debt. This is as a result of a risk aversion on the back of U.S. tapering expectations, as we know that the Federal Reserve is teeing up for future rate hikes. So we see that the level of inflows, as was seen in the first quarter of this year, have dried up, and foreign investors don't participate often in the treasury primary market as they used to. In fact, we've actually seen a flight to quality by these investors in the past few months, and it is evidenced by a reduction of about 4% in offshore investor holdings in Ghana local debt papers.
Great stuff. The MPC Monetary Policy Committee meeting coming up 22nd, 21st of this month. What are your expectations given the rise that we've seen in inflation outside of the Reserve Bank's band?
So generally, I mean, for us, it is our opinion that being the last meeting for the year, we think that the MPC will choose to keep the policy rate unchanged. We believe that the central bank's stance at the moment is skewed towards growth. So we expect that the Monetary Policy Committee will remain accommodative. However, we expect that they will begin to roll back some of the intervention measures they put in place at the peak of the pandemic, which included reducing the reserve requirement ratio for banks from 10% to 8%, and a few other intervention measures. We think that they will roll this back to help take some money out of the system to control the inflation numbers.
Great stuff. And as far as your outlook, I mean, we're practically at the end of the year. I don't know how far you can look into 2022, but how do you see things playing out over in Ghana as far as the economy is concerned?
Well, I think that the budget that is yet to be presented next week by the finance minister will provide more clarity as to the directions of the market. At least that's what the whole market is looking forward to. If the fiscal authorities are able to show and adopt a faster pace of fiscal consolidation, then I think that might instill some confidence in the market. As currently, debt sustainability is a primary issue for investors. On the growth front, however, we expect that the industry sector will recover fully next year, and that should help and it will support the fast recovery of the economy compared to what we are seeing now.
All right, Fred, I think we've got about a minute or so to go. I just quickly want to get your thoughts. Is energy a focus as for analysts moving forward? We've got the Africa Energy Week going on in Cape Town, should be wrapping up tomorrow. There's been all this talk about, renewables and so on and so forth. Oil, fossil fuels, how are you seeing things on your front from your end?
Well, I mean, Ghana, we all know that Ghana has recently become an oil producer. And I think as things stand now, we are net producer of crude. So with oil prices being where they are, I think it's to the benefit of the country. I don't think in the near term there will be a lot of emphasis on curtailing the exploration of fossil fuels and stuff, as it has become a very integral part of the Ghanaian economy. But that notwithstanding, we see certain government interventions and government policies that are aimed towards renewable energy. We see solar farms springing up, and solar becoming part of the general household energy source in the country. So it is. I think that it is a global conversation, and we are playing a part. But in the short to medium term, I don't see Ghana being a major player in that space.
Fred Duvor, Managing Director of Apakan Securities. Always great to talk to you, Fred. Thank you so much for joining us on The Exchange.
Thank you.